I'm not a personally a sophisticated briber. Um, I've probably 50 so far. But I know that you've done a ton of traveling, so I've interviewed like Jim Rogers, and he, drove around the world twice, investing along the way. And he talked about the skill of bribing and also using, this was back in the 90s, he was using Polaroids. He would give Polaroids of him, like a selfie, to the border guards, and they would just let him through. We've also had the world's most traveled man on the show, and he's talked his way out of a lot of bribes. But I'd love to hear, just because you've been around so many places doing these investigations, like what's the sort of trickiest situation you've been in on your travels?
Well, the trickiest one, I believe, was the inventor that you mentioned before, the young African guy from Zimbabwe, Maxwell Chikumbutso. When I went over to see him, the first day, I came in at night, and then the next day we got together at a particular location at this church where he had a large version of his device out in the parking lot. And so he started giving me a tour, and the people I was traveling with a security guard and a film crew. And so he starts giving us this tour, and all of a sudden people start showing up, locals start showing up in suits, looking very dour and suspicious. And so Maxwell comes over to me and he says, I didn't know they were coming, but those are representatives from the government, and I can't tell them to go away. So they were hovering around this whole thing. And at one point they took him aside, and I didn't know what they were going to be saying to him, whether they were threatening him or telling them to get rid of me or what. But fortunately, Maxwell, we had wired him. We had a lapel mic on, and it was still turned on when they took him, kind of behind this shed to, I think, give him a talking to. So when he came back, we quickly got the film and sent the audio track back to California to our technicians, who got a local translator who spoke the language from Zimbabwe, and they translated it and sent it back to us so we could tell what they were saying. And what they were saying actually was they were afraid that Maxwell was going to do deals with me and not with them, because they had already tried to get his technology, but they tried to take it. And they actually put him in jail for 52 days and tortured him and tried to get him to give it to him. And he said, listen, this knowledge is my gift from God to share with all people on the planet. And he said, so if I give it to you, you hoard it for your military, nobody else gets it, and my mission is then impossible. So I think when they saw that I was there with an entourage, and I was very serious about, and with a film crew and all, now they were getting the attention outside the country. Then I think they decided to treat him a little better. And so it turns out what the guy was doing was offering him a deal behind the shed, saying, okay, well, we'll sign these particular power purchase agreements, and we'll let you also take it out, but we definitely want to start with it here in Zimbabwe. And he said, great, I'm happy to do that. And so they actually let us film, and they let me stay there. I did get a call the next morning from the office of the president of Zimbabwe, saying that he wanted to see me at 3 o'clock that afternoon. It's like, okay, that's probably not good. And Zimbabwe is a rough place. You got to be on your toes over there. And so I sat down with my security guard, and we came up with a strategy, because he said, first of all, you're not going in there without me, and secondly, I don't think both of us should go in there. And so I sent a note back to the president, and I said, we are deeply honored by your invitation, and my security team and I would love to come to your meeting this afternoon with our film crew, because we'd like to record this auspicious conversation. So all of a sudden now he was going to be on record and with security guards. So he canceled the meeting. and we didn't have any trouble after that.
Wow. What a hoot. That's amazing. Um, and so you said this fella, sorry, what's his name again? The inventor is
Maxwell,
Maxwell.
the
And
inventor.
yeah, so you said he was sick. Was he, what happened to him?
Well, he was before I ever met him, and we depict this in Thrive too. He and his partner, after he had been put in jail and so forth, and then they finally let him out when they realized they weren't going to get the knowledge to themselves. They let him out, but both he and his business partner, who was a wealthy guy from South Africa who had been funding a lot of his research. I'm not South Africa, South America. Both of them got poisoned at the same time. And his partner didn't survive. And he survived, but his kidneys are a wreck. So he has been sick the entire time I've known him. He just had a kidney replaced a couple of months ago. And I think he's feeling a little better now, but he's dealt with a lot of things.
I'm just feeling all these inventors who have been killed or poisoned or injured for trying to bring this. Like I'm feeling some gratitude and some sadness for all of that.
Thank you for letting that in. It's so poignant when you do. And if you don't, if you just hear the some of the facts or stories, it just sounds like a bad James Bond movie or something like that. But it's very, very real. It's especially real in the lives of these inventors and their families who are being abused in this way. But it's also real for all of humanity. When we are fighting wars where millions of people die, supposedly over, making the world safe for democracy. But what's actually happening is the theft of oil, the theft of gold, and the installation of a Rothschild central banking system. If we can take away at least the excuse of energy, give people access to energy, then at least we're not going to be fighting over fossil fuels, which are polluting the planet anyway. And it's just one major step in liberation. And the second aspect of that is that the people who are trying to control all of humanity right now, one of the means of control is energy. That's why they want this smart grid. And that's why they want everybody's appliances all to be monitored, and your smart meter on your house, so that the people who want to control everyone else can literally monitor what everybody's doing with their energy, and then turn on or off whether or not you have energy and how much you have, based on your obedience to their system. And that's one of the major control mechanisms, along with, now they want to do, the Federal Reserve is bad enough, but now they want to do a central bank digital currency where they control all of money as well. They've already essentially taken over media. They've taken over education. So their goal, their nefarious intent, is to literally have a few people controlling all of us through controlling the means of production and distribution of everything.
Yeah, I felt that, energy was perhaps, I guess there's all these different control points, but I thought, gosh, that would just free everyone up so much.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like a device in your house and a device in your car that's just giving you everything you need. And economically, it would free people up to, have a lot more income to use towards, important things.
Yes.